The first time my wife asked me to lie to our son, I honestly thought she was kidding. It was a Saturday morning in early September, the kind where the house smelled like toast and coffee before anyone was fully awake. I was standing in the kitchen making scrambled eggs when Noah came running downstairs wearing his football kit. His jersey was 2 sizes too big. His socks didn't match. One shin guard was already on. The other was hanging halfway out of his backpack. He looked at me with the kind of excitement only a 6-year-old can have. "Dad, you remembered, right?" I laughed. "Remembered what?" He rolled his eyes dramatically. "My game. I told Coach you'd be there." I smiled. "I wouldn't miss." Emily interrupted without even looking up from the lunchbox she was packing. "Tell him you're working." I stopped talking. "What?" She zipped the lunchbox closed. "I said, tell him you're working." I stared at her, waiting for the smile. There wasn't one. "I'm off today." "I know. So why would I tell him that?" She finally looked at me. Her expression wasn't angry. It wasn't cold. It was almost nervous. "Please." I laughed awkwardly. "Emily, what are you talking about?" She lowered her voice. "Just trust me." "No. I'm not lying to him." Noah looked between us. He could tell something was wrong. Kids always can. He quietly asked, "So, you're coming?" Before I could answer, Emily knelt beside him. She brushed his hair back. "Dad has to work today, sweetheart." Noah looked at me instead of her. He wasn't asking with words anymore. He was waiting for me to correct her. I didn't. Not because I agreed. Because I was too shocked to react. After a few seconds, he nodded. "Okay." No complaining. No tantrum. No tears. Just, "Okay." For some reason, that hurt more than if he'd cried. The second they pulled out of the driveway, I grabbed my keys. I had no intention of missing his game. Whatever Emily was doing, I'd figure it out later. The football field was only 15 minutes away. I parked across the street instead of in the main lot. Part of me didn't want Emily seeing me. Not yet. I wanted to understand what was happening before starting another argument. Parents were already lining the sidelines with coffee cups in their hands. Kids chased balls in every direction except the right one. Coaches yelled instructions nobody under the age of 8 was listening to. It looked exactly like every Saturday morning youth football game. Then I saw Noah. He wasn't warming up. He wasn't laughing with his teammates. He sat alone on the bench, helmet beside him, hands folded together. Every 20 or 30 seconds, he looked toward the parking lot, then back down, then toward the parking lot again, like he was waiting for someone. My stomach tightened. A dad standing next to me smiled. "First season?" "No. Second." He nodded toward Noah. "That's your boy?" "Yeah. Good kid. He always waits for his dad before kickoff." I frowned. "What do you mean?" The man shrugged. "I've noticed it the last few weeks. He doesn't really settle until he knows you're here." I forced a smile. "Oh." He kept talking. "My daughter used to do the same thing. They notice more than we think." He had no idea how much those words stayed with me. The whistle blew. The match started. Noah stayed on the bench. His coach called another kid. Then another. Finally, nearly 15 minutes in, "Noah!" He jumped up immediately. Before running onto the field, he looked toward the parking lot one more time. Not the crowd. The parking lot. Looking for my car. Looking for me. He barely touched the ball. Normally, he ran everywhere. Today, he looked distracted. Every time play stopped, his eyes searched the sidelines. I wanted to wave. I wanted to shout his name. Instead, I stayed where I was. Because now I wanted to know why Emily had tried so hard to keep me away. Halftime came. Kids ran toward their parents for water and snacks. Noah walked slower than everyone else. Emily handed him his bottle. He took one sip, then quietly asked, "Did Dad call?" She hesitated. "No." "Oh." He nodded again. That same quiet little nod. The one that broke my heart. I couldn't stay hidden anymore. I walked across the field. Noah. His head snapped up. For half a second, his entire face lit up. Dad! He ran straight at me, wrapped both arms around my waist. I knew you'd come. Then, almost as quickly, his smile disappeared. He looked up at me, confused. Wait, I thought you were working. Before I could answer, he said something that made my chest feel hollow. Mom said, "You don't really like football anymore." I slowly looked at Emily. She was standing perfectly still, water bottle in one hand, no expression on her face. Not angry, not embarrassed, just completely defeated. And in that moment, I realized this wasn't about today's game. Whatever was happening between us had started long before this morning. Emily didn't say a word until we got home. The entire drive back was painfully quiet. Noah sat in the back seat talking about the game. He was excited. Not because his team had won, they'd lost 4-1. He was excited because I'd shown up. He kept replaying one moment. "Dad, did you see when I almost scored?" "I did. And Coach said I almost got it. You were really close. And next week you'll come too, right?" Before I could answer, Emily quietly turned the radio up. Not loud enough to stop the conversation, just loud enough to end it. Noah looked out the window. I looked at Emily. She kept both hands on the steering wheel. Her jaw was tight. The second Noah ran upstairs to change. I closed the kitchen door. "What the hell was that?" She didn't answer. "You told him I didn't want to come." "I never said that. He literally told me." "I know what he told you. So explain it." She put the grocery bags on the counter and slowly started unpacking them. Milk. Bread. Eggs. Like we were talking about the weather. Emily. Still nothing. My patience disappeared. "Would you please look at me?" She finally did. "You really want to have this conversation?" "Yes." "Fine." She folded her arms. "When was Noah's first football game?" I frowned. "What does that have to do with anything?" "When?" "I don't remember. It was 14 months ago." "Okay. Were you there?" I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. Because I genuinely couldn't remember. She nodded. I didn't think so. She walked to a drawer and pulled out a small notebook. Brown cover. Bent corners. She slid it across the counter. "Open it." "What is this?" "Just read." The first page had one date. September 14th. Underneath. Dad said he'd come. Work called. Next page. September 21st. Dad promised next week. Worked overtime. Another page. October 5th. Noah waited until kickoff. Kept looking at the parking lot. Cried in the car. I stopped reading. What is this? My notebook. Why are you writing this down? So I'd stop making excuses for you. Those words landed harder than I expected. I wasn't making excuses. She gave me a look. Weren't you? I kept flipping through the pages. There weren't just football games. School assembly. Halloween parade. Science fair. Christmas concert. Every page ended almost the same way. Dad couldn't make it. Work. Overtime. Next time. I looked up. I didn't miss all of these. No. You were physically present at some. I frowned. What does that mean? She sighed. The Christmas concert. You spent half of it answering emails. I remembered. Barely. The school play. You left before it ended because your manager called. Quote. The science fair. You told Noah you'd look at every project. You were gone in 20 minutes. Every memory came back, piece by piece, and every single one had the same ending. I'd convinced myself. I'd been there. Noah probably remembered something very different. I work for this family. I know. I work 12-hour shifts. I know. I don't do it because I enjoy missing things. I know. Every answer was calm. too calm. Then she said something I'd never considered. The problem isn't that you missed games. It's that you kept promising you wouldn't. Silence. She continued. Every Friday, you'd tell him, I'll definitely be there tomorrow. He believed you. The first time, the second time, the 10th time. Eventually, he started sitting on that bench before every game, looking at the parking lot, waiting until the last possible second. I closed my eyes. I could picture it now, exactly like today. So today, I wanted him to think you were working. I looked at her. Why? Because that's easier. Easier than what? She swallowed. Easier than watching him spend another hour wondering why his dad chose something else. I felt something break inside me. I never chose work over him. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't argue. She just quietly asked, Then why does he think you did? I had no answer. That evening, after Noah had gone to bed, I quietly walked into his room. He was asleep. One arm wrapped around a football, the other hanging off the side of the bed. On his bedside table sat a drawing. 3 stick figures. Me, Emily, Noah. Above my head, a speech bubble. Sorry, buddy, I have to work. I stood there for a long time, staring at a sentence I'd probably said 100 times, never realizing it had become the version of me my son remembered most. I didn't sleep much that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Noah sitting on that bench, looking at the parking lot, waiting for my car, waiting for me. The worst part wasn't that I'd missed games. It was that, in my head, I hadn't. I'd always had a reason. Overtime, a customer, a deadline, an emergency at work. Every excuse sounded reasonable, until I saw them all together. Then they stopped looking like excuses. They started looking like a pattern. The next morning, I called my manager. I need Saturdays off. There was a long pause. You know we're short-staffed. I know. We'll lose overtime. I know. You've never turned down overtime before. I know. Another pause. Finally, he sighed. Everything okay? I looked toward the living room. Noah was building a Lego stadium on the floor. Emily was helping him. Neither of them knew I was listening. No, I admitted. But I think it can be. That evening, I walked into Noah's room before bed. Can we talk? He nodded. I sat on the edge of his bed. I owe you an apology. He frowned. For what? For missing so many things. He shrugged. It's okay. No, it wasn't. Kids say it's okay because they don't want to make you feel bad, not because it actually is. I broke a lot of promises. He stayed quiet. I kept saying I'd come. I know. And then I didn't. Another little nod. The same one from the football field. I thought... He hesitated. Maybe football was boring. I smiled sadly. It isn't. I know. I just thought... Maybe I wasn't very good. My heart dropped. What? He looked down at his hands. You always came when I got an award at school. You came on my birthday. But football, you were always busy. So I thought, maybe you didn't like watching me play. I had to look away for a second, because I could feel tears coming. I hadn't expected that. Not from him. Never from him. I put my hand on his shoulder. Noah, listen to me. I never missed your games because of you. I missed them because I thought there would always be another one. He looked up. There will be. Those 5 words destroyed me, because he still believed me, even after everything. The following Saturday, I was at the field 40 minutes early. The coach laughed. You're definitely not late today. No, I'm not. Noah spotted me before anyone else. He didn't wave. He sprinted, straight across the grass. Dad! He almost knocked me over. You came early! I told you I would. He smiled. I know. That answer felt different. Not hopeful. Certain. I realized. Trust isn't rebuilt with speeches. It's rebuilt by showing up. Again. And again. And again. And again. Halfway through the game, Emily walked over. She stood beside me without saying anything. For a few minutes, we just watched Noah chase the ball. Finally, she spoke. "I almost told you not to come today." I looked at her. "Why?" "Because I was afraid." "Afraid of what?" "That you'd disappoint him again." She wasn't trying to hurt me. She was telling me the truth. I deserved that. She nodded. "Maybe." Then she looked at the field. "But people are allowed to change." When the game ended, Noah didn't score. He didn't get player of the match. He spent most of the game chasing kids who were twice as fast as he was. On the drive home, he wouldn't stop talking. "Dad! Did you see my tackle?" I did. "And what, I almost stole the ball?" "I saw that too." "And next week." He stopped, looked at me, then smiled. "I don't have to ask anymore." I frowned. "What do you mean?" He shrugged. "I already know you'll be there." I looked over at Emily. She was staring out the passenger window, quietly wiping away a tear before either of us could see it. A few weeks later, I found the little brown notebook again. This time, the newest page had only one sentence. Dad kept his promise. That was it. No long paragraph. No explanation. Just 7 words. I closed the notebook. Not because the story was over. Because I finally understood something. Kids don't remember every toy you buy them. They don't remember every bill you pay. They don't remember every hour you spend at work. But they do remember who showed up when they looked into the crowd. And for the first time in a long time, when my son looked up from the field, he didn't have to wonder if I was coming. I was already there.